Tonight, we embark on a journey through the galaxy, where one of the most compelling and tragic stories unfolds. A story of hope, fear, love, and redemption. Find a quiet, comfortable space, close your eyes, and let the Force guide you into a peaceful sleep as we explore the life of Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, whose fate was written in the stars, and whose journey would change the course of the galaxy forever. From his humble beginnings on the desert planet of Tatooine, to his rise as a Jedi Knight, to his fall into darkness as Darth Vader, and his eventual redemption. Anakin's story is one of the deepest and most complex tales ever told. So relax and allow yourself to drift into the world of Star Wars lore as we trace the path of Anakin Skywalker, his triumphs, his struggles, and his ultimate return to the light. And if you're new here, why not subscribe for a good night's sleep? Early life on Tatooine. Anakin Skywalker's life began under mysterious and extraordinary circumstances. According to the Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, had he been born in the Republic, we would have identified him early. The Force is unusually strong with him. That much is clear. However, the origin of Anakin's conception was equally mysterious. His mother, Shmi Skywalker, claimed that there was no father. "I carried him. I gave birth. I raised him. I can't explain what happened," she said. Some speculated that Anakin had been conceived through the midi-chlorians, a microscopic life form that serves as the conduit for the Force. But the truth of his origins remained shrouded in uncertainty. Born on the desert planet of Tatooine, Anakin's early life was marked by hardship. Tatooine itself was a harsh and unforgiving world, characterized by sand dunes, moisture farms, and the power of the Hutts. Anakin and his mother were originally owned by the Hutt crime lord Gardulla, who eventually lost them to the Toydarian Watto in a pod racing bet. At the age of 3, Anakin found himself under the ownership of Watto, a cantankerous and greedy merchant who ran a junk shop in Mos Espa. While Anakin's life as a slave was undoubtedly difficult, it also set the stage for his remarkable abilities to emerge. Despite being a slave, Anakin was far from ordinary. Even as a young child, he displayed exceptional talents, most notably in mechanics and piloting. He spent his days working in Watto's junkyard and repairing droids, particularly the protocol droid C-3PO, which he built himself to assist his mother. The droid was uniquely designed to withstand Tatooine's harsh environment, particularly the desert's heat and sandstorms. Anakin's resourcefulness and technical expertise were evident in his work with C-3PO, but this was just the beginning of his remarkable skills. In addition to his work with droids, Anakin showed an early aptitude for pod racing. He had the rare ability to build and repair his own pod racer, which would eventually help him win the Boonta Eve Classic pod race. His love for flying and racing was evident, and it was clear, even at a young age, that Anakin was no ordinary boy. Anakin's mother, Shmi, often told him the story of the Sun Dragon, a mythical creature that lived in the core of a star. According to Shmi, the Sun Dragon had the biggest heart in the galaxy and could survive anything because it protected everything it loved. This myth held a special place in Anakin's heart, as Shmi used it as a lesson, reminding him to always trust in his strength and his heart. She saw in Anakin a powerful spirit, and though life on Tatooine was harsh, she believed he could accomplish great things, helping a Tusken slave and dreams of becoming a Jedi. Though Anakin's early life was filled with hardship, it was also marked by his deep sense of empathy and his desire to help others. One day, Anakin had a vivid dream in which he was a Jedi, rescuing his mother from the life of slavery. When he awoke, Shmi warned him that there were no Jedi in the Outer Rim and that his path was dangerous. She urged him to remain safe and not attract attention, fearing that his strong connection to the Force would only bring trouble. Anakin's sense of justice was also evident in his actions. One day, while running errands for Watto, Anakin came across a group of slavers who were transporting a Tusken raider. Overhearing them discuss the lack of a transmitter chip in the slave, Anakin quickly altered the speeder's wiring to set it free. The slave escaped, and Anakin managed to mislead the slavers, saving the Tusken raider from a life of captivity. When he returned home, Anakin proudly shared the story with his mother, even though he had technically gone against Watto's orders. Despite the small victories, Anakin knew that his life on Tatooine was not meant to be. His dreams of becoming a Jedi were strong, though Shmi feared that his talents would draw unwanted attention. She also warned him about the dangers of being too good, as it could lead to those who would try to use him for their own purposes. But Anakin was resolute in his desire to help others, even if it meant putting himself at risk. Discovery by the Jedi and first meeting with Padme. At the age of 9, Anakin's life took a dramatic turn. While working in Watto's shop one day, he met a group of strangers, a tall man, a young woman, a Gungan, and an astromech droid. The young woman, Padme Naberi, caught Anakin's attention. He mistook her for an angel, a creature he had heard spacers talk about in their travels. In reality, Padme was the Queen of Naboo, traveling in disguise to visit Tatooine. The Jedi who accompanied her, Qui-Gon Jinn, took immediate notice of Anakin's remarkable abilities. Qui-Gon was a Jedi Master, and he believed that Anakin's strong connection to the Force marked him as someone extraordinary. After observing Anakin's work on C-3PO and his natural talent for mechanics, Qui-Gon sensed that Anakin was the chosen one, the one foretold to bring balance to the Force. Anakin's encounter with Padme also left a lasting impression on him. He was captivated by her beauty and grace, and he even asked her if she was an angel. Though their interaction was brief, it was clear that Padme would play a significant role in Anakin's future. After Qui-Gon and Padme's group returned to Watto's junkyard, Qui-Gon discussed the possibility of taking Anakin with him. He believed that Anakin's potential was too great to ignore, and that he should be trained as a Jedi. Though Shmi was initially hesitant to let her son go, Anakin ultimately persuaded her to allow him to race in the Boonta Eve Classic in order to secure the funds to repair the damaged Naboo Royal Starship. Pod racing to freedom. The Boonta Eve Classic was a dangerous and high-stakes race, but Anakin was confident in his skills. He had built his own pod racer and was eager to prove himself. The race, however, was not without its challenges. Anakin's primary rival, Sebulba, was a ruthless and skilled pod racer, but Anakin's determination and quick thinking ultimately helped him win the race. He was victorious, securing the prize money needed for Qui-Gon to repair the starship and return to Coruscant. With the race behind him, Anakin's life on Tatooine was forever changed. Qui-Gon took him aside and explained that he was not just a boy with extraordinary talent, but someone who was destined for greatness. Qui-Gon believed that Anakin was the chosen one, and he vowed to train him as a Jedi, even though the Jedi Council had yet to approve it. Anakin's joy at the prospect of becoming a Jedi was tempered by the realization that he had to leave his mother behind. Before departing, he promised to return to free her one day. First Battle of Naboo and joining the Jedi Order. Anakin's journey took another turn when he joined Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Padme on their mission to Naboo. As they entered the planet's atmosphere, Anakin had his first taste of space travel. During the mission to Naboo, Anakin played an unexpected role in the Battle of Naboo, where he single-handedly destroyed the Trade Federation's droid control ship while piloting a Naboo starfighter. His actions were instrumental in the victory, and he gained the respect of the Jedi, though he was still struggling with his emotions and the burden of his past. In the aftermath of the battle, Qui-Gon's belief in Anakin's potential was reaffirmed, but the Jedi Council remained divided on whether to train him. Despite their concerns about Anakin's age and emotional attachments, Qui-Gon insisted that he would take Anakin on as his apprentice, and Obi-Wan Kenobi agreed to train him in his stead. Training under Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin's training as a Jedi was not easy. Though he idolized Obi-Wan, he struggled to control his emotions, particularly his fear of loss and his deep attachment to his mother. Anakin's impulsive nature often led to reckless decisions, and he faced many challenges in mastering the discipline required of a Jedi. Nevertheless, he was a gifted student, learning quickly and mastering lightsaber combat, much to the admiration of his fellow Jedi. Despite his skills, Anakin's relationship with Obi-Wan was complicated. He often felt conflicted about his role as a Jedi and the path that lay ahead of him. He was torn between his loyalty to his master and the desire to reconnect with his past. His dreams of his mother haunted him, and the burden of being the chosen one weighed heavily on his shoulders. The growing influence of Chancellor Palpatine. As Anakin continued his training, he found himself drawn to the charismatic and influential Chancellor Palpatine. The Chancellor took a personal interest in Anakin, offering guidance and mentorship. Anakin, who had spent much of his life in servitude, began to view Palpatine as a friend and confidant. Unbeknownst to Anakin, Palpatine's influence over him would grow, setting the stage for the tragic events to come. Mission to Carnelian 4. The road ahead of Anakin Skywalker seemed long and uncertain. "Will you walk it alone?" his master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, asked him. Anakin's response was unwavering, though filled with contemplation. "No, Master. As a Jedi, if you'll show me the way." Their bond was growing, but the challenges they would face together were only beginning. Before Anakin could make his final decision about his future with the Jedi, Obi-Wan and Anakin were dispatched on a mission to investigate a mysterious distress signal from the planet Carnelian 4, a world that was believed to be long dead. The signal specifically called for the assistance of the Jedi, a rare occurrence that warranted their attention. The journey to the planet was not an easy one. As they approached the coordinates, their shuttle was damaged by the planet's turbulent atmospheric debris field. With the shuttle in peril, Obi-Wan and Anakin were forced to eject, landing below the Celadon Sea, far from their intended destination. Not long after landing, Anakin and Obi-Wan discovered that the planet wasn't as lifeless as it appeared. A fierce sky battle raged overhead. During the chaos, Obi-Wan returned his lightsaber to Anakin, urging him to defend himself. As one of the combatant airships began to plummet, Anakin and Obi-Wan worked together to save its two-person crew by preventing a deadly crash. The survivors from the downed airship, Kalara and Mother Pran, identified themselves as members of the Open faction. They were unfamiliar with the Jedi Order, having never encountered such individuals. Soon, Anakin and Obi-Wan were forced to take cover from a closed airship. Obi-Wan fought bravely, but Anakin saved the life of its pilot, Grecker, preventing him from falling to his death. The conflict between these factions, open and closed, was historical and deeply rooted, and Anakin quickly found himself caught in the middle of a long-standing feud. Unable to contain their hatred, Greca and Pran tried to murder each other. Anakin and Obi-Wan were forced to intervene, destroying their weapons and escorting the two survivors to safety. The mission was becoming more complicated with each passing moment. With the remains of the airships, Anakin and Obi-Wan used their mechanical skills to construct a new one, allowing them to continue their journey to find the source of the distress signal. As they traveled, Kalara noticed Anakin's mechanical prowess and asked him to repair some of the equipment. Anakin, always eager to prove himself, did so quickly, but the people of Open had more in mind. When a horde of hostile fishers attacked the ship, Kalara and Pran, seeing his utility, abducted Anakin, leaving Obi-Wan behind. They took him to one of the Open's fortresses, where Anakin witnessed Pran using the droid processors he had repaired to activate battle droids. As the Open and Closed factions prepared for war against a mysterious scavenger, Anakin realized that this war was fueled by the deep emotional wounds of both sides. Seeing the senselessness of the conflict, Anakin persuaded Kalara and others to protect the scavenger and help him escape. With their help, Anakin repaired the remaining droids, intervened in the ongoing battle, and saved Obi-Wan from Mother Pran. After the skirmish ended, Obi-Wan, grateful for Anakin's efforts, gave him back his lightsaber. The mission was not over yet, however. Anakin's loyalty was tested, and Obi-Wan, still questioning Anakin's commitment to the Jedi Order, asked him if he was still determined to leave. Anakin, for his part, decided to remain a Jedi, his desire to protect others outweighing his doubts about his path. Inquiring about lightsabers. After their mission to Carnelian 4, Anakin's thoughts turned to the weapon that had become synonymous with the Jedi, the lightsaber. During a sparring session in the Jedi Temple, Anakin asked Obi-Wan why Jedi wield lightsabers, particularly when other weapons powered by kyber crystals could be used instead. Obi-Wan, ever patient, used the Force to disarm Anakin and explain the significance of the weapon. He revealed a piece of his own past, telling Anakin about a time when he had once thought of creating two short lightsabers connected by a chain. But he quickly dismissed the idea, as lightsabers symbolize much more than just a weapon. The lightsaber symbolizes the care with which we approach our gifts through the Force, Obi-Wan explained. It reminds others that while we could do more, we very purposely do not. He continued, telling Anakin that wielding a lightsaber was a matter of intent. It wasn't just about the fight. It was about the thought and purpose behind the action. A Jedi's lightsaber, Obi-Wan explained, was not a tool of destruction, but one of protection. It was a weapon that showed restraint, one that Jedi used to protect life rather than destroy it. Rescuing Master Yoda. In another test of Anakin's abilities, Obi-Wan challenged him to defend against a group of Marksman H training remotes, using only a wooden stick rather than his lightsaber. Anakin, eager to prove himself, used the Force to grab Obi-Wan's lightsaber, completing the task with ease. However, when Obi-Wan reprimanded him for disobeying the rules, they began to argue, which caught the attention of Jedi Masters Yoda, Mace Windu, and Master Bant Erin. Afterward, Obi-Wan left with a team of Jedi Temple guards to investigate a disturbance in the Force, leaving Anakin behind to clean up. But Anakin's curiosity and his connection to the Force led him to disobey Obi-Wan. He used two training remotes to navigate the temple's vents, following the disturbance. To his surprise, he discovered that the disturbance was caused by a group of battle droids infiltrating the temple. Anakin fought the droids with what he could find, using electroblades in place of his lightsaber, which Obi-Wan had taken from him. The battle was fierce, but Obi-Wan and the guard team arrived just in time to help Anakin. However, Anakin left the fight prematurely, driven by a vision he had seen in the Force, a vision of the Jedi Council chamber. Racing to the scene, Anakin discovered that a masked enemy had disguised themselves as a temple guard and attempted to kidnap Master Yoda. Despite his best efforts, Anakin was unable to catch the intruder, who escaped on a jetpack. Upon returning to the council chamber, Anakin reported what had happened, realizing that the enemy he had seen was, in fact, a battle droid in disguise. The clues led Obi-Wan and Anakin to the temple archives, where they uncovered the involvement of the Nova Crime Syndicate, a criminal organization that had used the droids to infiltrate the temple. The investigation led them to the Wheel space station, where they posed as civilians to avoid disrupting the fragile peace between the Jedi and the station's barren administrator. There, they encountered Grynask Sandberg, who gave them information pointing to an underwater base on the planet Glee Anselm. Anakin and Obi-Wan ventured to the ocean depths, where they discovered Yoda trapped and the true identity of their enemy. To their shock, the temple guard was revealed to be Master Irin in disguise. As the situation unraveled, it was revealed that the entire ordeal had been a test orchestrated by the Jedi Council, specifically designed to assess how Anakin and Obi-Wan worked together. With Yoda's timely escape from the seaweed trap and the realization of the test, Anakin and Obi-Wan's bond as master and apprentice deepened. The mission concluded with Anakin and Obi-Wan lifting their shuttle off the seabed, working in unison to leave the world behind. A memorable training session. Despite their successes, Anakin continued to struggle with his aggressive nature. One afternoon, Obi-Wan invited him to spar in one of the Jedi Temple's training areas. Their duel began lightly, but Anakin's need to prove himself quickly turned the spar into a brutal fight. Obi-Wan warned him that such aggression was not in line with the Jedi Code. "You are a great warrior, Anakin," Obi-Wan said, "but your need to prove yourself is your undoing. Until you overcome it, a Padawan, you will still be." Anakin's aggression only escalated as the duel continued. He relentlessly pushed Obi-Wan back, determined to win at any cost. At one point, Anakin had Obi-Wan cornered, demanding that his master admit defeat. But Obi-Wan saw the flaw in his Padawan's mindset. He slipped away, creating an opening, and then used the Force to claim Anakin's lightsaber as his own. This was Obi-Wan's lesson. Anakin's need to win and prove himself would ultimately hold him back from advancing to the next level as a Jedi. Anakin, though frustrated, took the lesson to heart. Obi-Wan's challenge helped him see that being a Jedi wasn't about victory for the sake of ego, but about humility, patience, and control. Obi-Wan returned Anakin's lightsaber, and with a smile, he knew that this training session would be one that neither of them would forget.